the Lakers return tonight. And I think the Lakers they're always interesting, but they're definitely a lot more interesting this year after what we saw post trade deadline, making the blockbuster stunner trade for Luka Doncic, sending Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks. And since that trade, the Lakers have been humming along. In fact, in the last 10 games, the Lakers have won 8 games. They've been playing really, really well. And take a look at the standings. They are currently the 5 seed, but they're only 2 games back in the loss column of the 2-seeded Memphis Grizzlies. So there's a chance if the Lakers continue to roll like they have been, and now we're going to see more and more of Luka since he's coming back from the injury, maybe the Lakers are your 2 seed in the Western Conference come playoff time. I guess, what do you expect to see from this team post All-Star break, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and that duo in Lala?
I think it's the LeBron-Luka, symbiotic relationship and kind of what that looks like. I'm not interested in betting this Lakers team game to game, but big picture, yeah, if LeBron and Luka are playing at cruising altitude, I mean, who else in the Western Conference can put those 2 types of star powers together like that? I mean, it really is a unique combination. So how they gel over the next 2 months heading into the playoffs is going to be fascinating. But as for tonight's game, I mean, first game back from a layoff. Charlotte's got to travel a little bit earlier than expected. They've obviously taken a little bit of money, but clearly the over seems to be the steamy play in the market so far today.
No, I'm so glad you brought up the duo of LeBron and Luka, just because, like, you think about the Western Conference duos, and if you start ranking them and you write down a list, because, like, I wrote down the list earlier this morning and doing prep for the show, I was like, how do I feel about this LeBron-Luka duo heading into the playoffs? And I tell you what, I don't think there's a better duo in the Western Conference than LeBron and Luka Doncic. And, like, that might be a hot take. I don't know if it will be a hot take or whatever, but, like, just thinking about what they've done in the playoffs, like, you have LeBron, who's done more in the postseason than any player currently in the NBA. Granted, of course, he's 40 years old, so it's like you're not going to get, like, I don't know, like 2016, like LeBron down 3-1 against the Warriors. That's not what's happening in the playoffs. But still, like, you're probably going to get he was good in the playoffs last year. Like, I think LeBron just needs another running mate. And now you have Luka, who just last season took the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals. He took them to the Western Conference Finals in a previous season. So Luka has a lot of playoff experience. And I'd put that up against any other duo in the Western Conference. I think the other one that kind of comes to mind and is in this conversation is the one in Denver with Jokic and Murray, when Murray is like in that like bubble Murray mode and is like playing like really good playoff basketball. When he's healthy, Jokic Murray is a very dangerous duo, and that's a duo that we've seen last time they were both healthy win the NBA title a couple of years ago. But like, you think of the Lakers with LeBron and Luka, the upside has to be there at least. Like, I'm starting to warm up to it a little bit. Like, when the trade was first made, I'm like, man, this defense is going to be really bad. And maybe that's ultimately what happened still, but at plus 700, they're right behind the Denver Nuggets to win the Western Conference. I actually think that, not that there's a bet to be made, but like, there, at least if you like the Lakers and are bullish on the Lakers, I think you owe it to yourself to bet a little bit of that plus 700. Like, I don't know if I'm there yet, me personally, but like, they at least have the upside to put some fear in a team, because 7-game series, especially the deeper you get into a series, once it starts coming down to like who can get a bucket, you have LeBron, like one of the great basketball minds ever, and then you have Luka, who's one of the great basketball minds, at least currently at the age of 25, that's in the prime of his career. I don't think a lot of teams are signing up to face that duo in a 7-game series.
No, and again, at this stage where we're talking about the futures market, I mean, the game tonight, again, betting individual NBA games after a week layoff.
It's a weird game after the All-Star break. Yeah,
absolutely. But you make a good point about the big picture, because right now the goal is to try to capture something the market hasn't baked in yet. And that upside, that level of star power is hard to quantify because we haven't seen it on one team. Maybe, I don't know, if Luka plays at the level that he played at to get to the finals last year, and LeBron can tap into some of that elite, prime, is there a better duo that we've seen in recent memory other than maybe Steph and KD, like that, blew through?
That would be the one.
I think they're on that level. So if the market isn't fully baking in that shooting star kind of quantum leap, then yeah, you take it a step further even, and you say to win the NBA Finals is the bet to make, because the rating would increase so much if they win the Western Conference that'll be an interesting price against, let's say, the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series in the NBA Finals. But let's take it a step back. Let's say it's Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, Lakers Thunder. Obviously, the game would be in Oklahoma City. Are
Mhm.
you really betting OKC if that's like a pick 'em line? Are you
Nope,
really fading
I'm not.
LeBron and Luka if they make it to that stage of the playoffs? So that's where you have to frame your brain, where you have to get to that point. It's the Western Conference Finals, Lakers, Thunder. Yeah, you got to think the Lakers are going to be favored in that series, I would think.
Yeah, there's no way I'm fading. OKC would definitely be favored in the series just because their rating is so high and like they've been playing like
True.
almost like an all-time level. But like if we actually got there to that game, and like I don't think we would ever get there to that game. Like I want to put respect on OKC. I think the OKC would beat the hell out of the Lakers if they played in the playoff series. But let's just say and live in that world that we did get there to that game seven. I'm betting the Lakers. Like I'm not betting on SGA and Chet Holmgren and this young Thunder team to beat LeBron James, like literally like one of the greatest players of all time and one of the great playoff performers of all time, and Luka Doncic, who's like a killer in the postseason as well. I'm not fading those two guys in a one-off. Like
No
no,
shame.
if this were the NCAA tournament, like I would be running to bet the Los Angeles Lakers to like make a deep run, either win the conference or to win the title. But the fact that it's a 7-game series, like at some point those defensive issues I think will crop up a little bit, but that still makes them a dangerous team. And even doing the exercise, like Lakers and Nuggets were the two top duos for me clearly. Like Golden State with Steph Curry and now Jimmy Butler, like both those guys, big time playoff performers. Like I had to go all the way down to 5 to get to OKC. Like Durant and Booker to me is a better duo than SGA and Chet Holmgren.
I
Durant
agree.
and Booker have both played in NBA Finals. Like SGA and Chet Holmgren, like the furthest they've made it is the second round of the playoffs. Like so, while they're great in the regular season and they might win 66, 67 games or whatever it is, like they just have not done it in the postseason. And the playoffs is a different beast. We just saw OKC get the 1 seed last year, ran up against Luka Doncic, got bounced out in 6 games. Like it's just different in the playoffs. So as much as we all love OKC and they're the rightful favorite and should be the rightful favorite in the West, like I look at these other teams just from this kind of perspective, it makes it a little bit interesting. But when you look at the whole teams, hard to look past the Thunder to ultimately come out of the Western Conference. For me, though, Jared, based on how I'm going to be betting the Lakers, like this is just sort of the theory that I had once they made this trade. I think they're going to be playing a lot of high scoring games. I think that's why you've seen this betting market sort of ramp up all the way like to 5+ points in terms of betting this over tonight in the Hornets and Lakers game. I'm still worried about the Lakers defense. So I think player prop overs on the opposition is how to attack the Lakers and how to bet those games.